and I sat down at the makeup table. I glanced sideways at her, and she stared back, her eyes full of challenge. I looked into the mirror, admiring my face. I picked up a powder puff and lightly patted it on. In front of me was a gorgeous eyeshadow palette. I dipped a brush into the pink shades and carefully blended the colors. And ta-da! A stunning pink makeup look shone on my face. Perfect! Seeing this, Helen refused to lose. She picked up her brush and swept it across her face. In front of her was a shimmering eyeshadow palette. She dipped her brush into the black shades and applied them carefully. And then, ta-da! Helen sparkled in black, smirking with confidence. Helen and I stood face to face, stunned by each other's transformations. Helen widened her eyes and gasped, "How can you look this good?" I smirked proudly and tilted my chin up, saying, "Of course, this is the power of pink." Helen's expression shifted from surprise to frustration, then pure fury. I noticed her glancing around, searching for something. Then she spotted it. A bucket of water sat quietly in the corner. I was still lost in admiring my design, completely unaware. Then she grinned slyly. She grabbed the bucket and walked toward me with slow, deliberate steps. Helen's lips curled into a smirk as she held it up. I waved my hands frantically, pleading, "No, no, no, don't do it!" But fueled by her determination to win, Helen tightened her grip and declared, "There can be only one winner today." I gasped in horror. And then, splash! Cold water poured all over me. My hair, my makeup, my accessories, all ruined. I stood there soaked, disheveled, and humiliated. A furious scream burst out of me. Ah! My anger exploded. I grabbed the nearest paint bottles and threw them. The bottles flew into the air. Helen's eyes widened in panic. Ah! Splat! Paint splattered all over her face and outfit. Helen looked like a total mess, colors dripping off her like a clown in distress. Now she was just as ruined as me, and that was it. War. Both of us lunged at each other, fists swinging, hair pulling, accessories flying. Our once perfect outfits turned into a disaster. Shoes, fabrics, makeup brushes, everything went flying across the room. Neither of us was willing to back down. This wasn't just a contest anymore. This was personal. The stage was electric, with the audience's cheers echoing through the hall. Our teacher watched with anticipation as the MC announced, "Welcome to the dress-up contest. Get ready for some explosive performances." Now, let's welcome our first contestant. A contestant stepped onto the stage in a radiant red dress, twirling gracefully despite a hint of nervousness. The judge nodded, smiled, and raised his scorecard. 80 points! The MC continued. "Next contestant, please." A girl walked on stage in a simple dress, awkwardly waving, her hands trembling with excitement and nervousness. The MC hesitated, then held up the scorecard. 60! Despite the low score, she smiled gratefully and bowed. The MC announced again, "Next contestant!" The stage remained empty as Helen and I were still fighting in the dressing room. The audience murmured in confusion, and my teacher, worried, stood up and hurried out of her seat. Helen and I were locked in a fierce struggle, our clothes disheveled and accessories scattered everywhere. Neither of us was willing to back down. "Stop! What are you doing?" Helen and I gasped in shock. "Miss, we're sorry. We know we were wrong." The teacher turned away, frustration clear on her face. Helen and I rushed forward, blocking her path. "Please, miss, give us one more chance." Helen nodded urgently, her voice trembling. "We promise we won't fight anymore." Our teary, desperate faces stared up at her. "This is your last chance. Hurry up and get ready for the stage." Helen and I nodded frantically, then exchanged nervous glances. The teacher left the room, leaving us in a disastrous state. Then suddenly, both of us gasped in realization, our eyes lighting up. We had an idea! I fixed Helen's makeup, while she helped adjust mine to perfection. I added pink accents to her black dress and accessories, turning it into a dazzling black and pink masterpiece. Helen added black details to my pink dress, making it shine even brighter. I tied a black bow in Helen's hair. Helen adorned me with the pink and black accessories. We grinned at each other, posed confidently in the mirror. "Let's go!" The audience and our teacher sat waiting. The judge looked restless. He was reaching for the mic to say something. But then, the music kicked in. I stepped onto the stage, radiating pure confidence. Moving gracefully to the rhythm, I claimed the stage as my own. Right after, Helen appeared, in her bright smile, beaming, moving perfectly in sync with the beat. Together, we danced and strutted, showing off our stunning outfits. The crowd went wild. Our teacher watched proudly, her eyes shining. The judge clapped enthusiastically and raised their scoreboard. 100 points! Helen and I screamed in joy, hugging tightly as the audience roared with excitement. The judge stepped forward with the trophy and handed it to us, the winners. We accepted it, tears welling in our eyes, while our teacher smiled proudly from the audience. Helen turned to me, sincerely saying, "Lina, I'm sorry for not respecting your personal style." I felt my throat tighten and replied, "I'm sorry too, for being so stubborn. Let's make up, okay?" Helen nodded eagerly. We embraced, beaming with happiness, then held our trophy high in the air, victorious.